Hello everyone, good morning and welcome back to Sports Today. We bring you this video segment every single morning. Let me catch up with what are the things that have been happening in the world of sport whilst you may have been catching up on all important sleep, because let's face it, whilst you need sleep, I need sleep, the whole world needs sleep. The world of sport does not really sleep. There's always something or the other going on. In fact, this morning is a little different because normally we'll always come to you live first thing in the morning when we get the chance. But this time around, there were a couple of big breaking news updates, one surrounding Jasprit Bumrah, one surrounding KL Rahul. Those are already up in the live section of Sports. Go ahead and check those out if you haven't already. But for now, let's focus on some more interesting things in our daily video segment. Let's get straight to it. And there has, let's say, been a lot of noise coming from the England camp, whether that be Ben Stokes making a few interesting calls about DRS, or whether it is the kind of criticism that the camp has been copying. But let's first talk about what it is that this man right here, Benjamin Andrew Stokes, had to say about DRS. Now, to be fair, he prefixes his comments by saying that I'm not saying that the DRS calls are the reason we lost the test match or anything like that. However, he did also say that I think umpire's call needs to be scrapped. He's saying more often than not, we've seen some rather questionable calls. He's saying because to the naked eye, it does always appear that, in the case of, for instance, he mentioned Zach Crawley. He said that with Zach Crawley's dismissal in the second innings, to the naked eye, it totally looked not out. But when the replay went about, it was just about kissing the stump. Umpire's call, saying how is it that that's going to be possible? It's either hitting or it's not hitting. May as well scrap umpire's call. And it is worth noting that it's not the first time anyone really has called for scrapping of umpire's call. Umpire's call has always been a little bit of a contentious decision among certain fans and even experts and the like. But the reason the umpire's call exists in the first place is because the technology is still not yet 100% accurate when it comes to getting these calls. You have to give that little bit of a leeway to the umpire, saying that, you know what, the projections might suggest it's kissing the stumps, but it could very well even be going over or under. So needs to be going with the decision that the umpire originally took. In the case of Crawley, the umpire originally said it was out, and that's why it was given out. Sure, it's a tough break, and I must mention again and again that Stokes does go over the fact that, listen, there is in fact, no way, there is no chance I'm saying that England have lost it because of these. He's saying, but there have been a few questionable DRS calls. I think it's maybe time to scrap umpires as a whole, either say missing, hitting, let there be no grey areas. That's his thought. But whilst he himself has been focused on this and focused on defending the team, it's safe to say that baseball as a whole is very much under attack. And one of the most vocal, stringent criticisms has come from former England captain Michael Vaughan. Now, Vaughan, in his column for the Daily Telegraph, and we'll do a separate video on this, entirely detailing what exactly he said that the way England are playing is at times disrespectful to Test cricket. It is not right to be always looking to attack. It's not right to always be looking to play big shots. You talk about eliminating a draw, always going for a win, saying, but that is disrespectful to Test cricket too. The beauty of a draw is something that is time enshrined in the format. You don't need to be going for wins and being gung-ho every single time. So the tide very much is turning when it comes to public sentiment as far as baseball as a whole is concerned, because he's not the only one. Even Nasser Hussain has spoken out and actually said that there are things that need to be changed, need to be done differently. Again, he said some interesting things, but this is just a teaser. We'll do a separate video on that later on. Stay tuned for that and check it out when it is uploaded on Sports Today. But the simple thing is that the broader consensus that seems to be coming about is that, listen, baseball, it's great when it's working, but when it doesn't work, when you're getting humiliated like this, people are going to question the logic behind only playing one way, live by the sword, die by the sword. In fact, many have pointed out that India were also playing attacking, but they were playing to the situation, not necessarily always being in one gear, and that is perhaps the right way to play Test cricket. That is his thoughts. Now, speaking of someone who was playing attacking but playing to the situation, look no further than Yashasvi Jaiswal. After the match, well, he got a double 100 and was quizzed by the TV broadcasters of this particular Test series as to what exactly it is that, how it is that he was moving for this, what exactly was he thinking going on there. He said something very simple. He said, look, we had a lot of good motivational talks from Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja, and they kept saying that, look, if you go, let's go on set, yourself set, play He's saying, and not just the way they were talking, saying even the way they were going out there and playing themselves. Yes, they were attacking, but they were also sometimes slowing down. He's saying, I knew if I got set, I had to make it count. I needed to get a big score. And all I'm going to say is, it's so heartening to see a youngster come out there and look to express himself, but also know when to err on the line of caution and when to play slow, when to be attacking, when to accelerate, when to pump the brakes. It's very nice to see someone this young with so much natural attacking talent also know when to curb that and play defensive, play the situation. Take notes, England. Yashasvi Jaiswal is probably what you should be looking to ape when it comes to test match cricket. Bazball needs to learn a lot from Jaiswal. That at least is the prevailing thought as things stand. But enough of cricket for now. Let's switch our attention to the world of football. And Manchester United ended up grinding out a rather hard victory against Luton Town, because it took a late goal from Rasmus Højlund. Remember him, the man many compared to Haaland, who couldn't have be hitting a barndo in the half of the season, but now has been on a scoring streak for the ages. He's got 5 goals in 6 games, if I'm not mistaken, and United have definitely benefited from that run and form. They've beaten Luton, now in the top 6, very much with the top 4 inside as things stand. And it's a good turnaround of form for Manchester United, because again, they did go through a bit of a lull, but now they have consistently been getting good results, although Luton Town really did make them toil very, very hard for this one. More football, and this one's really interesting because Bayern Munich seem to have forgotten how to win. The serial Bundesliga dominating giants, a team that have won 11 straight Bundesligas on the trot, look very much unlikely to be challenging for the title this year. And despite the fact that Harry Kane, their goal-scoring talisman, was on the score sheet, they ended up succumbing to a loss to a team called Bochum. And Bochum are right now in the lower half of the tables, but their Bayern's recent form has been so bad that they ended up succumbing to a loss to Bochum. And let's just say pressure is definitely mounting. I wouldn't say on Kane, because he for the most part has been doing his job, but on manager Thomas Tuchel. Remember, Tuchel was brought in to replace Julian Nagelsmann, but the very same problems that existed under Nagelsmann seem to have only gotten further intensified under Tuchel. And if they are able to lose their iron grip on the Bundesliga this season, you just know that heads are going to roll in Bavaria, and the first person who will most likely be going is probably the manager. Another big team who dropped points, let's say Real Madrid, currently the leaders of La Liga. They have a 6-point lead right now, but having played an extra game. But unfortunately, the draw to Rayo Vallecano was a 1-all draw, means that as things stand, Girona, who of course are in second place right now, 6 points behind, if they win their game in hand, could very well be cutting the deficit to 3 points, and that once again ramps up plenty of pressure on Los Blancos, because again, recently their form has been very, very good. They even beat Girona pretty convincingly to ensure that the lead was opened up, but results like this, inconsistent results like this, will definitely put them on the back foot as far as the La Liga title race is concerned. But that's enough of football action. Let's switch over to the world of tennis, and Indian tennis to be specific. Sumit Nagal recently ended up making it to the semi-finals of the Bangalore Open Challenger event before he, of course, crashed out of there. But it's not the end of his tennis, let's say, calendar for now. He will continue playing in India. He's currently set to be playing in the Pune Challenger event, and his first game is going to be tomorrow in the morning. Now, it's worth noting that Nagal is the top seed in this particular event, so there is definitely hope and expectation that he could potentially do one better and actually win the tournament. If he does, that's another 100 ranking points for him before he goes on to play the qualifiers for the Dubai 500 ATP level event. So obviously plenty of time coming up for Nagal, plenty of good tennis action, and it's good in a way because you don't want to be start-stop. That will of course hamper your momentum. It'll also impact your ranking points, which is very, very important, because now that he is in the top 100, he needs to consistently stay there to ensure he's automatically qualifying for Grand Slams and not playing the qualifiers, which are of course a huge issue on their own, right? You're playing 3 matches before you even make it to round 1. Stay in the top 100 and you're qualifying pretty easily every single time. You need to be doing that. That is very important. And last bit of news before we call it quits. Red Bull Racing, the Formula 1 team that have of course won the last 3 world titles, be it in the constructors as well as the drivers. Their team boss Christian Horner was spotted for the first time publicly ever since there had been talks of allegations of inappropriate behavior on his part from an employee. And those were allegations that were taken so seriously that Red Bull, the energy drink company that owns Red Bull Racing, themselves opened an investigation into it. Now, there is talks that, Horner could potentially be done for, but that's all speculation. But what we're hearing now is that the investigation, which has been going on for a while, has prompted a response from Formula One themselves, saying that we know there's an investigation going on, it's good, but Red Bull need to wrap up that investigation ASAP. And it's easy to understand why it is Formula One won that. The new season will be starting at the end of this particular month, which isn't really that long away. In fact, 29 February is when the first session of practice will be taking place at Bahrain. So that's the season starting pretty much. And if Horner is still in charge there, there'll definitely be a lot of unwanted questions and unwanted attention on him. They've said, listen, it's great you're doing the investigation, but hurry it up a little bit, will you? Whether or not that works as a tactic remains to be seen, but what we do know is that investigation, now there's pressure to ensure it gets wrapped up ASAP, whatever the consequences may be for Horner. And that's it from this edition of the Morning Wrap with Sports Today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, we hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like our work, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the SportsTech app. And if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. And stay tuned, plenty more coming your way. For now, though, from my side, though, it is goodbye.